For the last 2 years, you've forgotten more names than you can count. You walk into rooms and stand there, no idea why you went in. Tasks that used to take 20 minutes now take 3 hours, or just don't get done at all. Your mood swings have caught you off guard. Your doctor told you it's stress, or maybe anxiety, or just getting older. But what if it's not just one thing? What if it's 2 things at once? Because new research from 2025 is showing that for millions of women over 40, what feels like losing your mind is actually 2 of the most overlooked conditions in modern medicine, colliding at the worst possible time: perimenopause and ADHD. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear framework for telling them apart symptom by symptom, and you'll know exactly what to track before your next doctor's appointment. So let's get into it. Here's the problem most doctors aren't trained to see. Perimenopause, the transition years leading up to menopause, and ADHD in women share a stunning number of overlapping symptoms: brain fog, forgetfulness, trouble focusing, mood swings, sleep problems, emotional reactivity, feeling overwhelmed by tasks that used to be effortless. That's perimenopause. That's also ADHD. So when a 3-year-old woman walks into a doctor's office and says something is wrong with my brain, she usually gets one of 3 answers. It's stress, it's depression, or it's just menopause, here's some hormone therapy. What rarely happens? Anyone screens her for ADHD. Or if she was diagnosed with ADHD years ago, anyone connects the dramatic worsening of her symptoms to the drop in estrogen happening in her brain right now. And that's not a small omission. Between 2020 and 2022, diagnoses of ADHD in women aged 30 to 49 nearly doubled in the United States. Not because women suddenly developed ADHD as adults, but because perimenopause was unmasking a condition they'd been quietly managing their entire lives. Before we go any further, if this is already starting to sound uncomfortably familiar, hit subscribe. This channel exists to translate the latest research on hormones, ADHD, and the female brain into content that respects your intelligence and your time. We're not selling supplements. We're not telling you to detox your liver. We're giving you the science, and we're giving it to you straight. Okay, let's talk about why this collision happens in the first place, because understanding the mechanism is what makes everything that follows make sense. Estrogen and dopamine talk to each other constantly. Estrogen, the female sex hormone that fluctuates across your cycle and declines through perimenopause, does much more than regulate reproduction. In your brain, estrogen directly enhances dopamine production. It slows dopamine's breakdown, and it makes dopamine receptors more sensitive, especially in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that runs attention, working memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Now, ADHD at its core is a dopamine regulation problem. The ADHD brain doesn't produce, transport, or use dopamine the way a neurotypical brain does. That's why stimulant medications work. They boost dopamine availability in exactly the brain regions where it's running short. So here's what happens in perimenopause. Estrogen starts fluctuating wildly, and this can begin in your late 30 seconds, often a full decade before your periods become irregular. As estrogen drops, dopamine signaling weakens. For a woman without ADHD, the result is the classic perimenopausal cognitive package: brain fog, forgetfulness, scattered focus. Frustrating, but generally manageable. For a woman with ADHD, even undiagnosed ADHD, the result is catastrophic. Her brain was already running lean on dopamine. Now her main biological backup is failing. Every coping strategy she built over 30 years starts collapsing at exactly the same time. And it's not a small effect. A major 2025 population study published in European Psychiatry, drawn from over 5,000 Icelandic women, found that women with ADHD experience debilitating perimenopausal symptoms at nearly double the rate of women without, 54% versus 33%. Even more striking, the difference peaked between ages 35 and 39, which suggests perimenopause may start up to 10 years earlier in women with ADHD than the average. And a 2024 ADDitude magazine survey of women living with both found that 94% reported their ADHD symptoms worsened during perimenopause, not slightly, significantly. If that hits home, you're not imagining it. You're in good company. And there's actually something you can do about it, but the first step is figuring out what you're dealing with. So how do you tell them apart? Here's the framework no one gave you. We're going to sort symptoms into 3 categories: things that point clearly to perimenopause, things that point clearly to ADHD, and the overlap zone, the symptoms that could be either or both, or one amplifying the other. Start with the signals that point clearly to perimenopause and not ADHD. Hot flashes and night sweats, your body's temperature regulation breaking down. That's hormonal, not neurological. Irregular periods, cycle length changing, heavier or lighter bleeding than what you've had for years. Vaginal dryness, or a sudden new drop in libido. Joint pain that came out of nowhere. Estrogen has an anti-inflammatory effect, and losing it shows up in your joints. Heart palpitations. A new, weird sensitivity to alcohol where 1 glass hits you like 3. If you have several of these together and they've appeared recently, that's perimenopause talking. ADHD doesn't cause hot flashes. Now the signals that point clearly to ADHD and not perimenopause. Time blindness, the persistent inability to accurately estimate how long anything will take. This is lifelong in ADHD brains. It doesn't start at 42. Hyperfocus, the ability to lose 4 hours in something you find genuinely interesting while completely ignoring food, water, and the kids calling your name. Childhood signals. Were you the smart kid who never reached her potential? The one who lost everything? The one teachers said could do better if she just applied herself? The one who cried easily when criticized? Rejection sensitivity, feeling devastated by perceived criticism in a way that seems wildly disproportionate. This has a name in ADHD literature: rejection sensitive dysphoria, or RSD, and lifelong difficulty with organization, paperwork, finishing projects you started excited about. If you have these, and you've had them since you were young, even if they got dramatically worse recently, ADHD belongs in the diagnostic conversation. The recent worsening is the clue that perimenopause is now layered on top. Now the overlap zone, the symptoms causing all the confusion. These are the symptoms that both perimenopause and ADHD produce. If you're experiencing them, the question isn't which one is it. The question is it perimenopause, ADHD, or both? Brain fog, forgetfulness, word-finding problems, you know what you want to say but cannot grab the word. Difficulty focusing, procrastination that's gotten dramatically worse. Sleep problems, either trouble falling asleep or waking at 3 a.m. with your mind racing about nothing. Mood swings, irritability, low frustration tolerance, anxiety, and a general sense that your nervous system is set too high. Weight gain, especially around your middle, that won't respond to what used to work. Feeling overwhelmed by tasks that used to be easy. Here's the key insight. The overlap symptoms don't tell you which one you have. They tell you that you need to look deeper. If you have a lot of overlap zone symptoms plus symptoms from the perimenopause only column, the hot flashes, the cycle changes, the joint pain, you're definitely in perimenopause. The question is whether you also have ADHD that's been hiding underneath. If you have overlap symptoms plus symptoms from the ADHD only column, especially the childhood signals, you very likely have ADHD. The question becomes whether perimenopause is now making it dramatically worse. And if you're nodding along to all 3 columns, overlap symptoms, perimenopause signals, and ADHD signals, you're not losing your mind. You're experiencing the collision. And you deserve clinicians who understand both sides of it. So what do you actually do with all this? 3 steps, and they matter in this order. Step 1, track for 60 days. Buy a paper notebook or use a simple app, whatever you'll actually use. For 2 months, log your sleep quality, your mood, your focus, your energy, any hot flashes or night sweats, and where you are in your cycle if you're still having periods. This data is gold for any doctor, and most doctors will not collect it for you. You have to walk in with it. Step 2, find the right kind of doctor. This is where it gets tricky. Most general practitioners are not trained in modern perimenopause care, and even fewer are trained in adult ADHD diagnosis in women. You will likely need 2 specialists, a menopause-trained provider for the hormonal side and a psychiatrist or psychologist who actually understands adult ADHD in women for the neurological side. We're covering how to find both of those in a future video, so stick around. Step 3, stop accepting it's just stress as a diagnosis, because it isn't. It's the absence of a diagnosis. You are allowed to seek a second opinion. You are allowed to walk into a doctor's office and ask specifically, could this be perimenopause? Could this be ADHD? Could it be both? The research is now clear enough that no informed clinician should dismiss the question. If this video gave language to something you've been feeling for years and couldn't quite name, subscribe. We're building the channel that connects the dots. Medicine is still treating as separate conditions. New research-backed videos every week. And right now, you should see other videos popping up on your screen. Pick whichever one speaks to what you're going through. There's more research-backed content here on hormones, ADHD, and the female brain at midlife. You're not losing your mind. You're learning how it works. See you in the next one.